On this week's show, we're discussing Mafia, the Old Country, arriving in fresh from Sicily. The PlayStation 5 sells over 80 million units as Sony has one of its best console generations in history. And EA are making more games based on Disney IP. What could they be? All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to the GamerGuild Podcast, your weekly show where we get together and round up all of the week's video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuild TV and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for the GamerGuild Podcast or GamerGuild TV and you will find us there every Monday, 8 a.m. when this show goes live, as it has done for nearly the last 6 years now. Your podcast players for the week are myself, Chris, at Arcane Rogue, and my man of many pixels, Mr. Richie.
Hello, everyone.
Hello indeed. We do have a great show lined up for you all, but before we get into all that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring-a-ding-ding that bell so you're kept in the loop with all of the great content here on the channel, like this very show, like our weekly live streams, where we play with you, the wonderful community. Not this week, though. It was single player, and, of course, our wonderful first looks, which are up on the channel right now. We have Mafia, the Old Country is live and ready. It went live this Friday. Special weekend treat for you fine folks listening along. And the Uncharted series just went live as well, where I dove back into Uncharted Drake's Fortune, all complete now, Richie, all wrapped up and finished. And that's what we'll get into, because we like to start every show here with what we've been playing. So before I get into Uncharted and other such things, what have you been playing these past 7 days, my friend?
I have still just been playing Final Fantasy X. I still intend to go back to Expedition 33 and get the Platinum. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's still here on my desk. But as is Final Fantasy X. So yeah, I just played quite a bit of Final Fantasy X this week.
Good. How far into it are you now, hours-wise?
Ooh, I haven't got a clue, because I've played it before, so I can't even check my hours on the PlayStation. I have a good ballpark. But in terms of progression, if you know the game, I'm up to the Calmlands, which is getting towards the end of the story.
The end of the story, okay. And then are we doing any grind, or is it just enjoying the story and then moving on?
I will decide later. It's a bugger of a Platinum.
Is it?
You have to max level every single character, and that seems like a lot of work.
What's max level?
The work on this thing called a sphere grid. So every time you level up, you move around the grid. So every single node in the grid, you have to populate with every single character to get the Platinum.
Right.
It's massive.
Keeps you busy though.
But yeah, it does. I would like the Platinum, but not sure if I'm willing to commit to it.
How is this holding? This is the PS4 version you're playing, right?
Yes.
How is this holding up compared to, like, I guess, playing Expedition 33, pivoting back to this? It's so similar yet, I guess, very different because of the time gap.
Yeah, well, it's a remaster of the PS2 versions for PS4, so it's not even a native PS4 game.
Right, okay.
I think it holds up incredibly well. Graphically, it's not stunning, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good enough.
It works. It does its
mechanically, job. It holds up. If you like turn-based RPGs, I think it's still got one of the best battle systems in any turn-based RPG I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
It's less stressful than Expedition because you don't have to time any parries or anything like that.
It's just much more traditional then.
Yeah.
Good. And what's in the pipeline after you've wrapped up with this one then? We're heading into the end of summer now, I guess?
I don't know, actually. That's why I jumped into Final Fantasy X. I didn't know what I wanted to play, and that kept coming to mind, so I'll see. Something will jump out, and I think I've mentioned last week, I've got a hole in the roof, so I've got that to fix. So money's a bit tighter than I'd like right now.
See, I was in a similar place where when I wrapped up on Expedition, I was thinking, right, what am I into? What am I in the mood for? Yeah. And then I went on a kind of a pre-order spree through Amazon where I have my birthday at the end of the month. Well, the beginning of next month, technically. So I was like, right, I know my mother and father, my mother, is going to message me saying, what do you want for your birthday? My wife is already asking, like, what do you want? What do you want? And I think as an adult, you're pretty much like, I don't really need anything right now. So I'm like, right, what is actually in the pipeline that could maybe save me a bit of coin? So I went out and I pre-ordered ahead of time. Because it's always, I think, if you're buying things like games and stuff, especially pre-orders, I'm happy to get them and then just hand them over. It's like, I'll give it to you. You can wrap it and then give it back to me as a 35-year-old gamer. That's what happens. So yes, I went on a spree and I ordered Mafia: The Old Country, which we're going to get into. I pre-ordered Metal Gear Solid Delta. And I pre-ordered, which I completely forgot about until I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, of course. Gears of War Reloaded comes out on the 23rd, I believe it is, or 27th, somewhere around the end of the month. So I locked in three game purchases. One Mafia I bought for myself. I had some Amazon vouchers, and I've lined the other two ones up. And I will say between them all, surprisingly, none of them are full price, so it felt like a bit of a bargain. I got Mafia for £40, I think, $39.99. Was it?
That's a bargain.
Pretty sure. I'm just going to double check before I say that out loud. Mafia: The Old Country on PS5. $39.95 on Amazon. So
that's
got that one in. Gears of War Reloaded. Care to hazard a guess as to how much that's retailing for?
£50.
$34.99.
Oh wow.
So you can imagine.
I was thinking 30, but I'm like, no, that's too cheap.
Sure not. So I thought, brilliant. That's, again, another great. It's kind of a known quantity for a really good price. So I got that one in. What about Metal Gear?
$89.99 because you got the Deluxe edition on Amazon.
No, I just went for.
I'm cheating. I have actually. I've pulled that one up.
The regular one is $58.99. So 60 for me is about like your ballpark figure of what a brand new game should be. Remaster, remake, take it with a pinch of salt, what you will. But I thought collectively between the three, I felt like I was getting a really good bargain, getting like 3 games day one for what didn't feel like as much as I think I was expecting after how much we cover the industry for. But yeah, as I allude to, though, I guess as part of that, wrapped up with Expedition the other week, we spoke about it on the podcast, so it kind of lent into like what I could play next. And I think between now and the end of the month, everything I'd heard about Mafia was kind of ticking the boxes, but I will save that for the news, Richie, because of course it's kind of our big story of the week is the reviews. Weekly live stream this week. We are aiming to get back, I know we've been saying it for some time, but some kind of live stream. Don't know what it might be. I know some of our community have been asking for Grounded 2. Now it's out on Game Pass and Early Access. Some people have been asking for us to do another live stream. We'll make that decision as it comes along. But in the meantime, we have had Uncharted Drake's Fortune, as I alluded to. That full stream is up now. Only took me 3 weeks to finish. Finished it in under 6 hours, which I didn't actually recall how short of a game the original was. But really enjoyed it. You are
quite experienced with that game, though, so I'm guessing you knew everything like the back of your hand.
I mean, a few parts caught me out, just I think due to the age of like the traversal and the parkour just wasn't as smooth as I guess my muscle memory is used to from like Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy and even 2 and 3 to a degree. There's a good couple times when jumping across from ledges and pipes and stuff, I was just falling to my death straight away, and I'm thinking, should I be like holding X in while I jump, or is just the game's just not quite reading correctly? But yeah, after a couple of funny deaths, ultimately finished the story, and again, there's just that look back to 2007 when the game came out, and just where we were at with it. But yeah, great little throwback, and I'm looking forward to continuing my Uncharted adventure in the I guess the months and years to come, because I think did Golden a bit a year ago, so then the cadence isn't great, kind of like the Pokemon one you're doing. But I'll get there, and it's there for all to check out. Early for members, of course.
Yeah. While you were talking, I did just order Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Right.
But I accidentally ordered it on my girlfriend's Amazon account.
So if people read...
I just got a message from her. Did you order this? Like, shit, yeah. Right.
So if people rewind. People skip back through the podcast. You'll see Richie's eyes and face motions when he goes, here we go, pre-order, order. Then there's a text come through. Then the panic. Then the double check of the pre-order order. All to show.
It's fine. She's cool because she's got Amazon Prime. I don't, so I think I was logged into hers for Prime Video. I think I was watching Clarkson's Farm or something.
Yeah.
at some point, and then it was like, I just went on and just clicked pre-order.
As you do.
So now I owe 60 quid.
Well, it's better than 70 or 80.
Yeah.
But funny you should mention Clarkson's Farm. We'll be knocking back a few pints of Hawkston beer tomorrow. It's available at our local pub, and we have to play a game. I don't know if you're aware of it. Of splitting the H. People do it with Guinness.
Oh yeah, stupid.
This
Guinness
is a thing. Well, there's a stupid Hawkston thing as well, but I'm pretty sure the H is quite low down on the glass, so you neck almost like a third of your pint. In the open one. But we're out with friends tomorrow, hence us recording on the Friday. But also, it means we can get this in the bag nice and early. So our members
Maybe
get it early.
Stick up as a short, me and you splitting the H.
Well, we'll see if we can do it. We'll see how close we can get. It might take many, many gulps. But as I said, our members got that early, and you should enjoy it. Like, we'll enjoy a cold few pints tomorrow. Another thing we should mention, merchandise store. If you are in the shopping market for some merchandise, we have some great new content out there. Richie's got... Have you got my t-shirt still? I don't think you've been saying for several weeks. Oh, he's unboxed it as well. Look at that. That is a lovely olive green GamerGuild TV t-shirt, folks. New colours out.
I wouldn't care. I was in your house earlier.
You were. You snuck in for a grand tour of the new setup. But yes,
your wife lived home from the pub.
That's fair. That's what's the lifestyle we live. Saving money on games so they can spend it on cocktails. But you know what? We get them back by ordering things on their Amazon account. So money goes both ways. So merchandise stores available. Weekly live stream come back later this week. And we should kind of preface as well. We do have our 6th year anniversary coming up next month, which we've not got anything planned for it. But just as a one for the horizon to keep an eye on. So yes, Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, really enjoy that. And as I mentioned, Mafia The Old Country also arrived early from Amazon. Are getting really good at early pre-orders. I don't know how they're doing it or why, if they're legally even allowed to do it. But yeah, I've had the last 2 show up a day early, which I'm not complaining about.
Well, I think nowadays you get a lot of digital activation. So even if you've got the physical game, the day one patch won't be out anyway. So
that's true. But before I can talk about that, we need to get into the news, and I can't do that until Richie introduces us to the
graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, aka the news.
The news. And of course, the news is always brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, the fantastic folks who support the channel that extra little bit further, just like you can from as little as 99p. You support the boys and get early access to content such as Uncharted playthroughs, Pokemon playthroughs, anything else we stick up early for you fantastic folks. Maybe even me and Richie necking a pint of Hawkston beer tomorrow. But other than that, we do have a wonderful Discord server. You should go check that out. Wonderful folks in there, fantastic folks, always talking about video games and everything in between. But Richie, as I mentioned, story number 1 of the week, Mafia the Old Country. The reviews are out. Before we get into my first thoughts, the first look is available up now on the channel. The first hour and 15, 20, 35, can't remember how long I went for, but I've played about the initial 2 hours of the game. Little tutorial bit, introduction to the story and the characters, and I'll get into that. It's currently sitting on Metacritic with a review score of 76, so up there in the good score ratings. And in terms of the reviews, I've noticed it's been getting a little bit of issue from the bigger journalists because the review copies were withheld on console up until launch day. So there's a lot of sites such as Eurogamer, Push Square posting their articles going.
Do you think there's some pettiness?
Maybe, I'm not too sure, but I mean, Mafia 3 reviewed quite well. Hangar 13 are a smaller studio, but in the grander scheme of it, I've seen a couple of them. You know, you get them articles that say why our review isn't here yet, and then it links in with saying like they weren't centered or they were delayed or they're only given PC copies. Either way, the reviews are coming through from certain outlets, PC Gamer, a couple I've never heard of before, so take it with a pinch of salt, I guess, for a lot of these reviews. The New York Times got one, they give it an 87. DualShockers gave it an 85, so there are outlets that have got their hands on it. But just to give you a brief taste, DualShockers gave it an 85. They said, Mafia the Old Country is a strong contender for one of 2025's best narrative titles. At one moment, it can feel like a cheesy Italian soap opera where Enzo and Isabella's on-screen forbidden affair is adorable enough to make you kick your feet in the air. But on the other hand, it's ruthless crime spectacle that excellently portrays the origins of the Mafia with the Torrisi family, Torrisi family's rise and fall, with character performances reminiscent of an A24 movie. Don't know what that means. Throughout its 14-chapter duration, it maintains tight tight pacing, particularly in its exposition and gameplay sequences, with the latter feeling like a breath of fresh air thanks to different weapons, variable fight sequences, and intense knife duels. Considering the ending and the fan service elements that cater to the long-time fans, this is not only the best Mafia game to date, but also one of the best modern linear action-adventure titles also. Dun dun dun.
So I've just been reading from the New York Times. Mafia the Old Country is a traditional video game, and that's a good thing. Next to the trend of games as an endless online experiences, the narrative of Enzo's rise through the ranks of a criminal family is a small and discreet, like a sawed-off shotgun tucked inside a crate of lemons.
Lemons, of course.
But I've noticed that kind of trend in some of the reviews. I've seen some outlets be critical of it for maybe his gameplay being a bit dated, while other reviewers have praised it for pretty much the same thing, going back to an older style of game and just going, right, we know what the game is, this is it.
Yeah, absolutely. VGC also gave it an 8 out of 10. They said Mafia the Old Country returns to the series' roots with a more linear adventure, delivering a solid story, if a cliche-heavy one, and satisfying combat. The character models and environments are stunning to look at, with the latter raises our main issue. As much as we appreciate the focus on linear story, this wonderfully sculpted Sicilian map is begging to be explored more, and it's sorely underused as a result. So you can kind of see, where the limitations of it being linear are coming into, but then back and forth.
I find that's a kind of like going, yes, we appreciate this being a straight linear narrative, but we wish it wasn't.
Yeah, which it's like, but that's not the game. It's like going, Grand Theft Auto's open world. I wish it was more linear. Yeah, it's like, if that's the game, I don't expect rugby balls in FIFA. You know what I mean? Like, you can't hold it against them. Game Informer, giving it a low one, gave it a 6 out of 10. They said, though it's a beautiful game with an excellent Sicilian dub to boot, Mafia unfortunately leaves a lot on the Don's table, failing to rise to the promise of its premise. Screen Rant with a very short one. I actually will give it a GameSpot because its Screen Rant is too short. They give it a 6 as well. Said, Mafia is at its best when things slow down, like I should have done reading that, letting you take in all the sights and sounds of Sicily. Like previous Mafia games, it nails the look and feel of the real-world counterpart by investing heavily in the details. Unfortunately, generic gameplay and dated mission design hold Mafia back, making it feel like a relic of the early 2010s. So, with all that said and done, I
feel like you have to decide for yourself. Like the style of gameplay seems to be, from what I'm reading, reminds me of something like an Uncharted, oddly enough, with their very quite linear level design. That feels like the world's being around from what you can explore is much bigger. And if you're not into that, then it's probably not for you.
Yeah. So, from what I've played then, so the first look's available now, and I've put about 2 hours in, and I can already tell that this is like a game for me. You know, when you just get that right vibe. I think, as I said, the price point was brilliant, £40 or $39.99 to be precise. You can't really go wrong with what this is offering. It's offering a linear story action-adventure game similar to an Uncharted that's apparently lasts for about 12 to 14 hours, depending on, I guess, how much you explore, what the collectibles are like and such like that. But as it said, 1904 Sicily, it's the birthplace of the Mafia. It's showing you an origin story, but you're right in what you've alluded to so far. In the gameplay tutorial, I've been introduced to our main protagonist. I've met some of the Teresi family. I've seen a little bit of the open world it mentions in Sicily. Visually looks stunning. You can imagine like sun-baked Italy, like nice like mountainsides, lovely homesteads, lush vineyards and stuff everywhere. The combat so far has been knife-based. I've not done any like real gunplay yet, but all things said and done, and I say it in the first look quite a lot, that just the atmosphere it creates with the character and the environment, it's why I love video games. I'm exploring a period of time that I'm never going to get to see outside of like movies and TV and books, but you get to freely explore around this linearity part, learn a little bit about the characters, and what it does really well, similar to very Naughty Dog-esque, is everyone in the background is doing something. Like, you arrive at like a vineyard, like a homestead farm where one of the big families live in the first like 2 hours, and you do a couple of jobs for them. And as you're walking around, you can hear people talking in the background of like preparing for this big family feast that's going to happen, and people arguing about lemons in the kitchen, and people bringing stuff in, and just like two blokes stood smoking on the corner arguing about something that happened to one of the other families.
We're getting snippets into these that feel like real world people just having a break from whatever they're doing to have a cigarette before they go about it.
Yeah,
you just get that little glimpse.
It feels lived in and real, and I really do appreciate it. The protagonist Enzo is quite likable. His story arc, again, it does say in one of the reviews there, it was said very like cliche tropey. It is, but it's that thing where I think in and amongst all like the massive games, like again, I've just put like 80 hours potentially into Expedition 33, and the fact that I'm sitting down, and I'm 2 hours in, I'm there for it. So yeah, visually looks great. Characters are well written so far. The dynamic between the families, and again that like threat of the mafia, like don't disrespect the family, that kind of setup. It's leading to an interesting premise. I can see where the story's going to go completely. I called it out a few times in the first look of like who's going to be this, what this character's intentions are, and it's pretty much play by the books. But it's very Uncharted, very story driven. 14 hours will serve me right, and it looks great. And as someone, again, our channel will give me jokes over it. Mafia game, never quite played one before, Richie. Never got round to it on Google Stadia, if you remember. So for the sake of it, it's been 1,907 days since Hangar 13 announced the Mafia trilogy coming to Google Stadia. And although the trilogy did come to other platforms, we're still yet to see it nearly 2,000 days later. Of course, not their fault now. We can put this one over on Google's desk and say it's on you. But
the fault is the finger is pointing in a different direction nowadays.
Absolutely. But for I'll say, if you've enjoyed games like Uncharted, Plague Tale, Requiem, things like that, it's that type of game. Yeah, and it's great.
When you talk about cliches and said it's a Mafia game, I did mean as in Mafia the gaming franchise. I meant Mafia as in the genre.
Okay, yeah.
Which
crime syndicates and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it is going to be full of cliches. Because
I mean,
that's the expectation.
In the first hour, you meet the head of one of the families, and he even has like a Marlon Brando, like
Don Mario or something.
Yeah, he's called Don Teresi, I think, and he's very much a case of like, you're on my land, why would you do this to, not to be here? And he's like, don't disrespect it. And it's like, he's clearly taking inspiration from the Godfather series, but
it's a bit kind of campy in that way. It
is, but you know what? I wasn't around in 1904, so for all I know, that's what everyone acted like and spoke like. But Enzo's likable. His character arc's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I do very much think it's going to be my favourite Mafia game. No surprise. The big open world Grand Theft Auto nature of the prior ones had put me off jumping in because the scope of them seemed very big, and going from A to B and doing all these checkpoint stuff. You have to be in the right mood, and I think I'm usually in the mood for Ubisoft games like that, but turning to a developer I'm not too familiar with and a genre I'm not too familiar with, it was always like hard to get my head on, especially when it was the third entry in the series. And that's why on Stadia I wanted the definitive edition, because I was going to jump into it and start from the beginning, and then it never came, and I was like, I'm not going to start at 2. Everyone knows what my vibe's like with not doing stuff chronologically. So this being like an origin story and linear, and it looks the best game that the series has ever looked, and it's getting good reviews, and it's a great price. What's not to like?
It was a kind of perfect jumping on point for you.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to it.
I feel there is a gap in the market for more of these like shorter, linear, narrative-driven games.
Yeah, then there really should be. In a world where live service and open world fatigue is definitely a thing, and as gamers like ourselves get more mature and have less time, telling me I can finish this in 14 hours is music to my ears.
I feel the fatigue sets in. I think for me, fatigue for live service, for Soulsborne games, comes from oversaturation. When there seems to be a huge push for them genres, and everything else kind of get left behind, that's where I feel like it gets frustrating as a gamer. I want gaming should just be diverse and all kind of styles, every way you want to spin it.
Yeah.
Different style of gameplay, different narratives, different settings, different genres. Give me everything.
Yeah, but again, so far from what I've played,
and I'll bill my girlfriend for them all.
Yeah, and so far what I've played, it's definitely up your street, your girlfriend's street, and probably a lot of our audience's street as well. It just ticks the box, and it ticks the price point as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting more into it. I've already looked at the trophy list. Frustratingly enough, I did start it on just the standard difficulty, the medium difficulty you clocked off at, to find out there's a trophy for completing it on a hard. So I'm now at that point where it's like, do I just drop back the hour and a half I did in the first look and just for the sake of it? Yeah, it seems like, and again, the opening credits and stuff were quite enjoyable. So I'm not going to be too slow. I've not played it 50 times over, but
you know what? You'll probably if you skip the opening cutscenes, you'll probably realise it's only half an hour's worth of gameplay.
It's just a little bit of tutorial stuff. So yeah. Looking forward to it. And first look, as I said, is available now up on the channel. So go check that one out. And maybe add it to your wish list. Let us know in the comments below if you'll be checking out Mafia: The Old Country or anything else you've been playing. Because again, me and Richie get here every week and we talk about what we've been playing, but you are our audience, and we like to go back and forth and see what you guys are up to. Any recommendations, definitely get them in there too. Story number 2 of the week. Xbox is officially stopping development on another first-party title, Richie. This one comes in the form of Contraband, which was the title being developed in partnership with Avalanche Studios, who you might be familiar with for the Just Cause franchise. It's probably their most well-known one. Not the WB one that did Mad Max, I think, back in the day. I think that was theirs. There's 2 Avalanches. I might have got them confused. But this is the one that did Just Cause anyway. They were doing Contraband. And they've officially announced they put out an update this week on social media saying an update on Contraband. Over the past several years, Avalanche Studios Group and Xbox Game Studios Publishing have collaborated on Contraband. Active development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future. We're thankful for the excitement we've seen from the community since we announced, and we will give an update on what's next as soon as we can. So they stopped short of saying it's being cancelled, although reading between the lines, it seems like they're looking for investors or something. No, this is the game that was announced back in 2021. It's a co-op shooter smuggler's paradise game set in a fictional world in 1970. And that's pretty much all we know so far. I don't remember. Can you remember off the top of your head what Contraband was?
No, I can't.
Because I had to watch a trailer to get a vibe of what it was. I think we watched it at one of the Xbox
I think I watched the trailer earlier,
showcases.
but that didn't really enlighten me to what it was.
Well, again, you wouldn't tell it was a co-op shooter from the trailer. It actually reminded me very much of the Concord trailer, which is never a good comparison to make. But you know when it's a CG trailer showing you the setting of an area, like the type of tech to expect. Concord was like obviously on a spaceship that showed you a couple of bits of like retro space tech. This shows you around like some kind of den where they're plotting some kind of heist with, I guess, like a 70s aesthetic, because that's when it's set, and you're going to get a crew together and go on a job, like a looter-shooter extraction thing.
You never actually see any gameplay, so it's...
But this was 2021, so you've got to imagine they've been grafting away on this for nearly half a decade now.
Unless they showed that teaser like very early in development. And actually, to clarify as well, the Avalanche Studios in question is the Just Cause guys, but they also did actually do Mad Max.
Oh, it's the same one.
Same studio.
Oh, right. Wow. Interesting. So, yeah, I guess what did they do from here? I mean, this goes back to Xbox tightening their portfolio. I think they've had that phase of expansion with the Activision Blizzard PopCap World collection. And now they've had... Not PopCap, King, sorry. And then now they've had to... Well, Big Daddy Microsoft has obviously came in and went... tighten the purse strings, trim a bit of the fat here and here.
They spent a lot of money and now they're consolidating. The entire industry did that. Everyone was buying everyone. Now it seems to be about consolidation and closing. It's a very unstable industry when you think about it.
Oh, absolutely. There's no other industry would function in this terrible, terrible way. But it does bear its riches. In terms of Contraband, where do they go with this? If they've got surely enough development in the thing, I'm pretty sure they must just be looking for another publisher to help fund, I guess, the final hurdles. There can't be much left. If it was summer 2021, we're in summer 2025. That's 4 years in development. I'd imagine the team is also ticking away on probably another Just Cause entry, because that's the big money ticket, isn't it, for them? I think they'd be very naive to go in with a brand new IP and not a backup.
I don't know. I feel like it's one of them. Since that initial tease back in 2021, we've heard barely a single word about it. No. So I've got the development might be one of them where the development wasn't going as expected.
Mm-hmm.
and then Microsoft have they might have missed. This is all kind of speculation. They may have missed several key milestones or something that's put them on the chopping block. Because the reasons why haven't been elaborated on.
Yeah.
We've just been kind of told that it's kind of getting cancelled.
I mean, I feel like if this is their statement they've put out, I think the reason they've not went into any great details because if the game is still potentially looking to be saved, you would be very naive as a business to say they have problems behind the scenes. To admit that they're behind schedule or some stuff isn't working or the internal feedback hasn't been great, I think would be a detriment to any potential people coming in.
The key wording is active development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future. There's no mention of any split between Xbox at the moment. So the development is basically being paused and then they're going to have a look at what... But the fact that a statement's come out suggests that it's not in a good place.
Yeah.
Either the game, the studio, the funding, something's not right at the moment.
I wonder if they're getting ahead of the curve. Like they're putting out a statement themselves rather than Microsoft announcing it. I wonder if their contract maybe is coming to an end at the end of August and they think we can either get out ahead of this and control the message or we can let Microsoft do it at a shareholder meeting where they say these games are no longer in development and then it comes from like a third party essentially from their point of view and the studio have no control over it. So because we know Microsoft obviously announced a couple of closures and cancellations to games mere weeks ago. This wasn't part of it. So you can almost see behind the scenes of Microsoft, them working their way through parts of their business. They did first party, they did studios, and seemingly now it's getting a third party deal. So I don't think by the end of the month, this might not be the last we've seen. If Xbox, what I can't think off the top of my head what other third party deals they've got in place, but you've got to imagine they had a few. Because PlayStation and Nintendo all do it, don't they? They all have like contracts with these other studios to work and make a game. But yeah, Contraband. Hard to say. Kind of.
I'm guessing because it's not as close to publishing as they would have liked, which is probably why the plug's been pulled. For whatever reason that is, maybe it's quality of a game, maybe just it needs longer and the money's drying up. Xbox are losing faith in it. Whatever it is, I don't know, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah, interesting. If it gets picked up, who likely do you think would step in at this point? My brain immediately goes to like a Tencent or a Krafton, like the PUBG guys, who are just like, you know what? It's almost finished. We can spare another 100 million just to have a splash at this and see.
Yeah, I could see something like that, and Embrace the Group maybe.
Yeah, does it get rebranded? Maybe, depending on who the IP license is with.
I'd stay away from the biggest publishers because I think the fact that Xbox are pulling out, that will give them cold feet to begin with. Yeah. Even if they wanted to explore any potential there. And then Microsoft if this game is published, Microsoft will be demanding a cut in revenue, I'd imagine. Unless that's pre-negotiated.
I'm looking to think like how could you tweak from what we see from the trailer, what you could tweak.
We don't see anything really.
I'm thinking if behind the scenes they could like rebrand it, like take an IP, take a movie IP and just slap it on top of it, change the character skins, the outfits they wear. Like so it's definitely like a heist game. So take something like, I don't know, just like Ocean's 11. just get characters who loosely resemble George Clooney, Brad Pitt in them. Change the building into a casino and then just put it out as like, oh, it's 2026 and you're getting an Ocean's 11 game. Go and just see what happens. But yeah, it's again a shame to see. Hopefully it will survive in some form because after 5 years worth of hard work, it's always a shame for the devs and their art and the passion that they go and work on full time day to day just to be kind of brushed aside by decisions above them. But it happens. I don't know if you saw earlier this week, Richie, the BioShock news going around as well. That apparently there are problems over at BioShock 4 as well. Not that it's an Xbox specific game. But yeah, they were covering it on, I can't remember what article I was reading it. I've got an IGN one here that says, yeah, the good news, the good is the new bad, great is the new great. Our goal is to make everything exceptional. So this is obviously BioShock 4 has been in the works at a new studio, Cloud Chamber, who were formed specifically to take on BioShock 4, but we're talking it's been 10 plus years since BioShock Infinite now. So it's been developed for more than a decade at various studios under the 2K banner, but I think it's interesting it comes as like Mafia is coming out. We know what issues they've had over the years.
On BioShock, I found a Eurogame article that says the headline is it's from the 2nd of August this year. BioShock 4 fails to impress at internal 2K review, resulting in leadership shake-up and revamped narrative. A BioShock 1 remake has also reportedly been cancelled. So Eurogamers seem to think that BioShock 4 isn't doing well, and they pulled the plug on 1, and there's leadership issues.
Yeah, I can see why they wouldn't need a remaster of number 1, because they had the BioShock Trilogy remaster come out for the PS4 generation, so it's compatible on your current gen hardware. So yeah, I don't think that would need it. Maybe just to get a bump in like interest and eyes on it, I would go with.
That could be it could be a case of they had a budget for both games, for 1 remake and BioShock 4, but in order to get, if 4 needs a lot more development time, that they've decided can 1 to like move the budget across or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, BioShock 4, I'm interested in it still. I think the BioShock trilogy is one of the best trilogies of all time, but I played them all when they came out on PS4. So I'm not clambering to go back to those 3 anytime soon, but I would enjoy a new entry in it, and I'd pick it up day 1. But yeah, obviously Ken Levine's not with them anymore. I mean, technically he didn't do the second one; he just did 1 and Infinite. But of course, he's working on Judas now, so he's split away, doing his own thing, and he's got
ironically
he's
got a game called Judas.
Yeah. But he's got his spiritual successor to BioShock coming out, which just looks like BioShock in space, if you remember from the trailers. So it's an odd one, and I think to add an even weirder layer to all that, I'm pretty sure Judas has been published by an arm of 2K. So although they can't get BioShock out the door, it's been published by it might not be in the UK, I can't remember. I'm sure I was reading something this week about it. But yeah, Judas is actually, was that out this year, or should that have been out this year? I feel like it's gone radio silent. We saw it at Jeff Keighley's thing, and everyone, I think it was the Game Awards, and then everyone was expecting it to be out, and then they've gone radio silent across the whole summer. It wasn't at any of the big events. But yeah, single player game. Looking forward to it. No online components, and hopefully a BioShock in space. But yes, it's Strauss Zelnick who was talking confidently about it, about BioShock's kind of up and down lengthy development. And he's basically said, yeah, BioShock 4 has had its troubles. This was from yesterday, this article. But he also explained that it's why it's proving such a tough nut to crack. Quoting from him here, he says, "We don't talk about how long our development cycles are. We had some ups and downs along the way, that is accurate, and we've had some changes in studio leadership, with very, very big shoes to fill on BioShock because of the legacy of Ken Levine and the legacy of what's gone before, which has been so successful. And we need to make sure that experience is true to the BioShock DNA on one hand, but a massive step forward on the other hand. That's always challenging. We think we're up to the challenge, but it's not been seamless." And this is because, earlier in the week, Bloomberg reported that BioShock's had a massive overhaul, being revamped, narrative's been rewritten, its overall, in narrative being restructured. And then in recent hands-on meetings with the staff at Cloud Chamber, which is the development studio, they were told they need to be more agile, more efficient, which is like redundancy talk, if I've ever heard it. We need to strip down and be more agile and more efficient in what we're doing. It's like, ugh.
You need to be more agile and more efficient so we can get rid of some of yous.
Yeah, but I'm surprised we're not there yet. I feel like Cloud Chamber was announced like right at the beginning of our Stadia days, because I think I remember seeing with it being a new studio and 2K games being on Stadia. I think we talked quite progressively about could the BioShock trilogy come to Stadia, and then we'll see BioShock 4 in a few years' time, and here we are, nearing past the midway point of 2025, and seemingly it seems if they're going through restructurings and rewriting and stuff now, I don't think we see this next year. I think you're probably talking early 2027 at best, and then Judas will fill that gap anyway.
True.
But you said you've never played one somehow.
Nope. Yeah, just somehow never got around to it. I own them on PlayStation 4.
You're gonna love them. Well, the day you finally get around to them, you're gonna love it. But it is not this day, Richie. This is the day we talk about story number 3. PlayStation 5 closes in on the PlayStation 3 overall sales, having hit the 80 million units sold landmark recently as part of this quarter reporting. We had a financial earnings call and some financial results earlier this week. Apparently in Q1 of the fiscal year 2025, which is April to June, PlayStation 5 sold 2.5 million units, bringing the overall lifetime sales up past the 80 million mark, which means it's only 7.4 off PlayStation 3's lifetime sales, which means on its current trajectory, the PS5 will top it just before April 2026. Or the start of the next fiscal year. During the same period, Sony also sold 65.9 million PS4 and PS5 games, of which 6.9 million were the first-party titles. Overall, 83% of full game software sales on both PS5 and PS4 were digital, which shows that a shrinking market again for physical media, with just 17% going to physical copies, which is scary as a physical collector. And PlayStation Network's monthly active user count remains steady at 123 million people. The big story here, Richie, I guess, is PS5's just, it can't do any wrong. It's put its prices up, it's put its hardware up, and it's still ticking over nicely. The fact that it's closing in on PS3's entire lifetime sales. And I know PS3 was arguably the worst of the whole PlayStation generation, and everyone goes Xbox 360 at its lunch, and it absolutely did. But you got to remember,
PS3 actually outsell?
By the end of that generation, PS3 sold more than the 360. So Sony just seemingly can't really do wrong, whether they've got the hubris or the bravado, or they charge over the odds, or they put the prices up. The brand is just so strong. It does numbers.
There's a big difference between the generations in terms of the gaming market as a whole, though, that needs to be acknowledged. Mm-hmm. I think more adults are gaming more often
absolutely
in this current era than, because PS3 era was basically when we were in our early 20s, late teens, early 20s,
late teens, yeah,
late teens, yeah. So our generation who grew up with video games, probably more so than any other generation, now have the disposable income to buy this stuff, where previous generations probably wouldn't have anywhere near the same level that we have.
Yeah.
So I bet you that trend follows suit from pretty much for every platform. Like the Switch probably outsold like the GameCube and the N64. The Xbox Series S and X probably outsold.
Yeah.
Yeah, outsold like the Xbox and the 360.
Well, we know there's more gamers in the world. Like, absolutely. In terms of release dates, released in Japan, 11th of November 2006. And it was back in the day when America got it November 17th. We had to wait till March 23rd, the following year, to get it in Europe and Australia.
Insane when you think of it nowadays.
Could you imagine? I'd be so pissed off as a gamer finding out that the rest of the world was playing like the PlayStation 6 and I had to wait 4 months. Again, that doesn't guarantee you it. That just means it's released. And of course, the PS3 cost a lot of money. I believe, if I'm right in thinking, it came out in the March in Europe. I think me and my brother had to go halves in it for our Christmas present that year. So we had to wait till December 2007. Because again, back when you're 15-year-old, you don't really have much say in when you get expensive boxes for under the TV.
Wasn't that part of why Microsoft had such a good start? Because wasn't it the E3 the year they were both announced? Sony went up first, announced the price, and then Xbox came up later and undercut them by like 150 quid.
Yeah, and the 360 came out the year earlier as well.
Yeah.
So they had a year's run, so to build that momentum while everyone was still rocking a PS2. Can you imagine a 360 competing with a PS2 just in terms of like graphics and the games that were there at launch as well, like Halo and some other fantastic titles.
Halo, Gears, things like that, early Xbox 360 titles.
Absolutely. But again, it won out in the end, and I think the reason PlayStation beat it out truly was just its first-party games. It, almost like to this day, what's doing so well for them, and it says in this article, 83% of full software games were digital versions, but it says 6.9 million were first-party titles. That's pure profit. That's nearly 7 million games sold, arguably around probably the £60 mark.
What is interesting, actually, I've just seen in some of the like sales things is full game software download ratios. PS4 to PS5, 80% in Q1. It's around about 75 to 80% all the way through last year.
No dips.
And in Q1 this year it was 83%. Almost majority, solid majority of the games released that have been downloaded are PS4 titles. So, despite relatively weak PS5 title sales and downloads, it's still doing numbers.
Yeah. And this is where we live in that cross-generational world, don't we? Where if you maybe went into like modern state-of-the-art gaming, I mean, yeah.
I'm playing a PS4 game.
But if you bought a PS4 today, and you never played one, maybe you had an Xbox last generation.
You'd have a great time.
You could jump in and play most. You could play God of War Ragnarok. You can play Horizon Forbidden West. You can play The Last of Us. Maybe not the latest version, but you can play these games still. Fortnite runs, Minecraft runs, Apex Legends runs. FIFA's still coming out. They're all there. So you do wonder where that line's being blurred a little bit. In terms of just Sony's latest financial report, I think one thing to point is that over the last couple of years, there's been criticism always lodged at PlayStation and Sony and the fact that PlayStation's arguably Sony's most profitable arm of the business, but it has razor-thin margins, especially near the launch of a console, because they have to eat such a loss usually.
Huge development costs.
Absolutely.
That in the first few years, you don't see much profit.
Yeah. Production, distribution, marketing, that's all huge sunken costs, just on the fingers crossed hope that the product sells well. In terms of that, though, the PlayStation division for Sony generated 1.4 billion yen, which is an increase of 120% year over year. That's phenomenal business, and that even passes the peak that it had during pandemic 2020, when everyone was at home and couldn't leave and gaming flew through the roof. So the fact that every single metric of its financial report compared to the same period last year is up. Hardware up 4%. Software sales up 23%. Units sold up to 65.9 million. Monthly users grew by 6%. 123 million PlayStation Plus users is money every single month you're getting through PlayStation Plus.
It's interesting because these numbers are skewed a bit by the inflation of the price of the console and the software.
True.
But yet they're still making more money. There again, inflation overall is ridiculous at the moment. So this is one of the things. I think there was comparisons of I think PS5 is made more profit on paper than all previous PlayStation generations combined.
Yeah.
But it doesn't include for inflation. Yeah. Which is a huge thing when you're comparing from across generations.
Just ask my mortgage about that and it'll tell you all you need to know. But yeah, 80 million, pretty damn good. Sony have also now paid off their Bungie acquisition. So the $3.7 billion purchase of Bungie, which it's got to be one of their worst business decisions they've made in recent years. I know we give Concord shit, but...
That could be a long-term thing, though. Long-term, that might pay off.
It's a lot of money, though, for Bungie, right? If you think they paid $300 million for Insomniac...
But if they bring out Destiny 3 and it lands the same way Destiny 2 did, that's money in the bank, isn't it?
It's got to survive Marathon first.
Oh, yeah. God.
But we'll get into that in the coming months, no doubt. So yeah, just an overall success. I don't think it'll catch PS2. 160 million is PS2's all-time record.
No, I think it'd be difficult because PS2 hit in a different way because it was the best DVD player on the market and significantly cheaper than most DVD players on the market as well.
You know what? Arguably to this day, still the best DVD player you could pick up because it's a games console as well. It can play retro games. If you pick a DVD player up for 20 quid from Argos today, it's just
assuming
a shitty
you're
DVD
going
player.
for something that can also play a Blu-ray, but yeah,
not too bad. But yeah, Sony thriving, and there was some news articles also this week about the Sony heads saying that PlayStation are moving away from hardware and focusing on software and community and a bunch of other things, but I don't see how they could with the sheer sales numbers. that are projected. Like again, they're going to surpass 100 million units in the next year or two.
I take that to mean that they don't really care as much about the profits from hardware because it's getting dwarfed by the profits from the software. Not to say that they're still going to produce the hardware, but the profits are going to be a smaller part of what makes up the overall picture for PlayStation.
Yeah. I know you mentioned it there, but it's interesting to look back at the kind of history and the lineage, which they did speak about in their investors call. I said not adjusted for inflation, but looking at the PS1 era, that netted them $3 billion profit. The PS2 era netted them $2 billion. Less profitable, even though it was more successful. The PS3 era lost them $4 billion. Not great. And then the PS4 one totally flipped and rebounded with a profit of $9 billion. So it's mad to think how much they turned it round from PS3 to PS4 to a point which Phil Spencer's alluded to many times, is that's the generation where they planted their flag in the ground and won the digital world.
Yeah.
And it's mad to think how different it could have been. Like, they could have easily threw in the towel after the epic loss of the PS4. Could you imagine being in the business department there going, do we go ahead with PS4? The last one just lost us $4 billion. Is it worth it, or do we just leave Microsoft and Nintendo to it? And they could have threw in the towel, but instead they doubled down.
Yeah.
And they won. They've won long term, seemingly.
Unfortunately, I feel like the leadership of today would make a different decision. They made the right decision then by holding the nerve and going, you know what? We know what we've got. We fucked up the launch of it. We fucked up the launch of this thing. Mm-hmm. We've been clawing it back over the course of the generation, but damage is done. We know exactly what we need for PS4. We need to double down on our first party IP. We need to make the console affordable. We need to make it the best console on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did that, and there was banger after banger after banger on the PS. The PS4, I think, is the best console in terms of the IP generated.
Yeah. I think when we look at the revenue as a whole, the biggest thing that we definitely shouldn't discount is third-party support. Like, because PlayStation won that digital base, and as we've just alluded to, is that blurred line between generations of people on a PS4, a PS5, they're still playing the same games. So yeah, if you're out there playing Minecraft, Fortnite, Roblox, FIFA, GTA 5 still for the 13th year in a row, you're giving money every time you buy like FIFA coins or V-Bucks or Shark cards in GTA. Sony get a cut of that because they own the storefront.
Usually around about 20% of any purchase on the storefront goes straight into Sony's pockets.
Yeah.
So, and the way I guess to do the numbers, if you're playing a PS4 version of a game and you buy something, that goes towards the PS4 column.
Yeah, absolutely. To a point where in the financials it says like, yeah, over half of their revenue, just over half their revenue comes from these third-party titles. So it's no surprise. And I think next year, if they get the marketing for GTA 6, that's just going to be
said for the lack of first-party titles in this generation.
Yeah, very true. But seemingly they don't need it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think GTA 6 next year, if they can get marketing with GTA, which they have done in the past, that should skyrocket PlayStation 5 sales into that next echelon. Like, I've been talking with colleagues at work and stuff, and we'll probably talk at the pub tomorrow about friends of just like, next year is going to be huge. Like, they delayed another year, so that volcano bubbling under the surface is only going to get more and more aggressive and pent up, ready for next summer. It's been it'll be 14 years at that point nearly. Insane.
It's insane.
And if you haven't bought a PlayStation yet, because let's face it, if you're on the fence and you've maybe got a PS4 or an old Xbox, it's probably going to run the best on PlayStation. Or PS5 Pro, hands down. Because remember, Xbox don't have any mid-generation upgrades, so best play out, and it won't be coming to PC anytime soon. So even all those wonderful Master Race PC gamers, if you want to play GTA, get your pockets emptied and go buy yourself a console.
You might get lucky. You might get lucky nowadays, PC gamers, but we haven't in the past when it comes to Rockstar. So,
no. Is Red Dead 1, 2 even out yet? Red Dead 2?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Is Red Dead Redemption on the PC?
But even that took a long time, didn't it? Or did it ever come? I can't remember. It's a Grand Theft Auto, one of the Grand Theft Autos.
You can buy it from. You can buy it. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption on PC,
but not 2.
You can buy 2 as well.
Oh, you can buy 2 as well. Fair enough.
But I'm sure 1 came out According to the Reddit article, 14 years after the original.
Treat yourself. Get yourself PS5, boys. But moving on to things that you should treat yourself to, and Bethesda are seemingly treating themselves to a double dip on Starfield. The report comes this week that alongside a major expansion 2, which is going to launch in 2026, they're also going to look at a PS5 version to help bolster the next expansion, which is going to land somewhere between March and June next year. According to sources, Starfield won't be released this year, which was early rumoured, due to the original weak sales of the first expansion, Shattered Space. But Microsoft is going to release and double down on a double launch as well as content to kind of bring it to life all at the same time. Richie, I think we always suspected Starfield was going to jump ship. I mean, every other title pretty much has. I think Senua's Saga 2 is literally this week, I believe, or next week.
Yeah, it's coming up if it isn't like imminent.
I've seen a few like kind of gameplay teasers of PS5 yesterday and today, so it must be imminent if they're getting like visual content coming out.
The PS5 port, I think, will be fantastic for Starfield because they've done a lot of work on the run up to Shattered Space and fixing a lot of the issues people had with the game, and it gets fresh eyes on it and fresh reviews on it.
It'll probably run better.
It's basically a soft relaunch of the game.
Yeah.
So if it comes out and it's reviews well, and some outlets may re-review it as well when it comes to PS5, add in the DLC, suddenly it's given new life.
I mean, we both played Starfield. We both finished the story and the campaign. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I wanted to enjoy it more. But
yeah, I was the same.
I think what was actually better about Starfield than the game itself, ironically, was the branding. I think the hype and the build-up and the energy that was behind it, because it was Bethesda and because it was the Skyrim guys and the Fallout guys, in the anticipation was, I think, so big for Starfield. It almost eclipsed the quality of the game in a way. And to me, even though I enjoyed it, didn't think it was great, I still have a fondness for it. And I think that's because just the branding is so clean on it, the story of space exploration and the promise of that Bethesda exploration and universe is so good. And as you alluded to, a lot of the bug fixes they've done, the quality of life, vehicles being added in, mini maps, all that kind of stuff. Now that's all there as a complete package, and whatever they're bringing with expansion 2, I think it'll sell great numbers on PS5.
Yeah, me too.
We've seen it with Forza. We're going to see it with Gears. Gears of War is hands down going to sell good couple of million units, 3-4 million minimum.
They need to put a bit of money behind the marketing, I think, as well on PS5 to make sure it lands, to make sure you break past the people who remember it being a bit iffy at launch. It wasn't terrible.
No,
it just wasn't as good as people were hoping from like a game that had been like 10 years in development and the next thing from Bethesda.
Yeah, I agree.
It's weird. It's one of them weird situations where Starfield came out and people went, "Oh, it feels a bit dated. It's a bit lackluster." So then they remastered Oblivion and everyone, "Yes, please."
It's so weird how the games industry works, isn't it?
But there again, the expectations are set correctly for something like Oblivion because it was a known quantity. Starfield was meant to be the next step for Bethesda, and it just didn't quite take a big enough step.
And we know from history is like games like Starfield they'll have like a long evergreen tail off where people will be playing this for like years to come. Like they'll dip in, they'll dip out. And not like obviously like Skyrim, but like just games that are this fast and this open, they tend to, and people go back to them and they get drawn in. So I think but bumps like Shattered Space and whatever the next one's going to be, I think will do great. I do think a PS5 launch will do it wonders, absolute wonders. Right.
I agree. Yeah.
Would you buy it again? Do you think, or not for a few years maybe?
I've got not really much incentive to buy it because if I wanted to play it, I have it on Xbox Game Pass, so I'd have to really, really want it.
I guess the saving grace, kind of spoilers, is the way the gameplay loop works. Is you and me who finish the story are kind of right back at the start anyway. So if you were to pick it on PS5, you wouldn't be losing anything.
Have to start again. That's the thing that I didn't.
That's what killed it for me. The end killed it for me.
Yeah, The ending is, I think it's an awesome ending,
Yeah.
but from a gameplay loop, it went, oh, so now I just start again.
Yeah.
And everything, because I remember thinking it was like the kind of base building elements and like building your own ships.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just forced you to chuck all that away.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was like,
from a narrative standpoint, great. From a gameplay loop standpoint, the worst thing you could possibly do to a gamer. Everything you built up over 50 hours of gameplay,
Some
gone.
people loved it, though. I think it was very I think some people loved it because you just play through the story again and again and again, every time as slightly different iterations, which was pretty cool. And sometimes weird shit started happening as well, didn't it?
Yeah, and I guess do let us know in the comments if you've played Bethesda's Starfield multiple times. Let us know if they've like tweaked any of that at all. I'm sure one of the feedbacks was like, when we get to the game end point, maybe let me choose what to carry over a bit more selectively, because then you can like kind of pick what you really want to lose. Because the game was dead to me after I finished that, because it was like, okay, that's your choice, not for me. But yeah, I did enjoy it, especially the Mantis missions. Another thing I do enjoy, Richie, is Disney and Disney IP. And while we wait for the next entry in the Star Wars Jedi series, there's talk this week that Disney, in an interview with Variety, EA's president, Lauren Miel, discussed their work with Disney and what ongoing projects the team has. Now, they name-dropped Respawn's Jedi sequel, which will be, we've got Fallen Order, we've got Survivor. It's kind of primed and prepped for a third entry. It's going to be a trilogy, all things said and done. We also know there is an EA Motive Iron Man game in the works, which is the Dead Space team. Remember, they said they weren't going to do Dead Space 2, but they've announced since that they're going to do an Iron Man game, amongst other things. And they also allude to, the president said, that the team has a few others that have yet to be announced. What those unannounced games tend to be, we don't know, of course, but one of them certainly won't be the Black Panther game, because that got cancelled. If you remember, we covered that one just a few months back. Done. That was the one in partnership with Cliffhanger Games, which isn't an EA studio. So, I'll throw it over to you, Richie. What Disney IP are we potentially looking to see? Where does it... Because it's such a mixed bag of success, isn't it? They have great success with Spider-Man. Wolverine's no doubt going to do well. Star Wars Outlaws, poor. Star Wars Jedi, amazing. So it's such a flip-flop of things. Avengers with Square Enix did bad. So, but they have such a vast IP. Where are you thinking with this one?
I think it's going to be Souls-like Battle Royale starring Donald Duck.
Okay, where does it take place? Is it Disneyland?
Yes, it can.
Like in the grounds of the park. You have to fight to survive. Oncoming tourists and Disney fans.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though.
I actually don't know. In all seriousness, it could be more Marvel. I was trying to think outside the Marvel Star Wars, like what Disney IP they could leverage. Maybe like a Pirates of the Caribbean game could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's one of those where, as a kid growing up, you'll be the same, where we had an absolute smorgasbord of movie tie-in games. Some good, some bad, some phenomenally memorable. I don't understand why we don't get games anymore that basically follow a movie almost beat for beat and just add in some action things. You mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean there. All jokes aside, if they had cutscenes that were just clips from the movie that were rendered in Unreal to look like, obviously, game engine, and then in between that I got to play as Captain Jack or any of the other cast and crew with little combat bits with pirates or pirate zombie skeletons, and I get to steer a ship from mission point to mission point. I would have fun. The music, the characters in that world, I would have fun with that. Just like Hogwarts Legacy.
I can tell you why it doesn't happen that much anymore. One, the lion's share of them are actually movie tie-in games were actually just shit. Two, the narrative structures of a movie doesn't always translate well to the narrative structure of a video game. Mm-hmm. And I think mechanically, that it can be even harder as gameplay has evolved and it's quite a bit more intricate than in the early 2000s. yeah, the quality of gameplay expected in the title is significantly higher.
Yep.
So if a narrative requires constantly changing up the gameplay style, which a lot of movie tie-in games had, it doesn't quite work. It can do, but I feel they've fallen out of fashion for quite a number of reasons. So but I think there's something to be said for an original, taking an IP, say, I don't know, Toy Story, and go, what would be an ideal Toy Story game, and then make that. You don't have to follow the narrative of the movies beat for beat, but they can be inspired by, and it tells its own story.
I haven't even thought about Pixar. As soon as you said that, though, my brain went to that Astrobot level where you're in the bedroom and you can see the toys and you climb up on the shelves and you go under the bed, under the duvet and get the coins. You use like a lampshade to climb up. You go through the ventilation shaft. I was like, yeah, you give me a Toy Story game where you can select your list of characters, but it's similar to Grounded, that kind of wonder and amazement of being a small character in a big world. And we did have Toy Story games back then. I have some great memories of the Sega Mega Drive Toy Story game. But, I would love them. I didn't even think of Pixar, but Pixar have some of the most vibrant, colourful, wonderful, creative worlds in cinema history. Toy Story arguably being the biggest one, but yeah, you've got, I guess, a racing game that focuses on cars. Would you want to race around as Lightning McQueen? They've got Disney Speedstorm, so they already have a Disney kart racer, but... yeah, what is there to tell? I know they have like loads of IP as well because they own Fox now. They own Simpsons. Could we see a new Simpsons hit and run?
They own Alien and Predator.
I mean, I feel like we see a Predator game like every other year, but they just never do that well.
Simpsons. Mickey Mouse, there's always decent Mickey Mouse games coming out. And then Disney Princess is like is the number one IP. You could go into like Frozen stuff. So
it's how do you gamify it though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen my girlfriend play Epic Mickey. That was pretty cool.
Epic Mickey is good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Castle of Illusion ones. Again, the 2D platformers.
Something like fine. Brave might lend itself to being like a fantasy action game.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards some of the more modern Disney, where the princess isn't just a atypical damsel in distress. Mulan could be an awesome game.
Let's get down to... I'm going to sing songs now. Hercules?
Yeah.
I watched Hercules with my daughter the other day. Hercules is such a good movie. In the PlayStation 1 demo that everybody played. Don't lie to me, chat, if you've not played the Hercules PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah. I think I might have done, actually.
It must have been on a PlayStation demo disc because I think everyone's played that open level where you're doing Phil's kind of challenges through running the gauntlet as he's doing his training.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of any IP that could be quite easily converted into a video game format, but staying away from Marvel and Star Wars because it's a bit... We've talked about them to death.
But that's where the money's at, right? That's the big triple A. Because I can't imagine EA would partner to do small titles. You're not getting like a 2D platformer out of this. They're looking at AAA, big... Like EA only deal in AAA. I mean, I think both of us would agree we'd take a Battlefront 3.
Yeah, something like that could work.
Like it's a simple win for EA.
If they do Battlefront 3, I'd almost want them, if they do Battlefront 3, to be 2 games. Have a single player game separate to the multiplayer game as completely standalone things.
I think with Battlefront, I think we can all probably agree, or what I think would work really good is if they can fix Battlefield 6. Which seemingly the vibe I'm getting online and everything is terrific. If Battlefield 6 lands and EA all of a sudden get this like boon of interest of like, holy shit, like Battlefield 6 is the go-to shooter where to be. Mass open world, gameplay, 100v100, phases, all that kind of stuff. And then the goodwill Battlefront 2 has been seen on Steam and out there with their special like May the 4th days and everything. I could see EA seriously going to Disney and go, look, do you want us to do a third entry? Like, let's work out the contract, let's start again. We fix Battlefield, it uses the same engine. The surge and the interest is there for Battlefront 2. And I think with EA having made the Fest 2 as well, it's not like you're suddenly taking it to Ubisoft and going, can you do something? It's literally the same teams in the same house with the knowledge and the expertise and the experience. So I think it'd be an easy, quick win. Not, and I say quick, of course, it'll still say take 4 or 5 years, but you know what I mean? It must be an easier yes than launching a new IP. Like, let's do a Black Panther game. I would put money on a Battlefront 3 before another Avengers game, for example.
You know what? Tron.
I don't... There's a new Tron movie that comes out this summer.
I'm stealing the idea from someone in the Pure Xbox comments. I was just been flicking through for ideas. But I think a Tron game could be cool.
See, I've been saying for years, it's just bikes with lights. I don't see what a game of Tron is, though. Like, is it racing? Does it have the action element? Like, you sell me on why Tron should be a game.
I'm feeling like it'd be more like something like Cyberpunk, but with like the neon lights turned up a notch.
Yeah, I don't know. I think our chat need to let us know in the comments down below what they would like to see from Disney IP, because there's probably so many things we're not even thinking of now that will make amazing games. We just don't have the headspace and the thought to process.
Yeah, I mean, you could just pick any random Marvel or Star Wars character and slap a genre on it, and it probably would work. Han Solo action adventure game. That's easy.
A Lando Calrissian card game, like Balatro.
Yeah.
That'd be an easy win. I know we've said a few times on the show, even just in recent weeks, is like, just give me some 2D games.
Well, you know what was cool about Battlefront 2 sometimes? When you know the main character, I can't remember what was the name. I can't remember her name during the narrative, because she wasn't a Jedi. You were very much boots on the ground as a third-person shooter set in the Star Wars universe, and the gameplay was phenomenal. The storytelling was phenomenal. That's why I'd say I'd like that game separate from the online component.
In Battlefront?
Yeah.
Was it Iden Verso?
I think so, something like that.
Verso.
But
was it the woman, wasn't it? Gina Govanka, I think it was.
Yeah, she was. She started on the side of the Empire and ended up part of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, Operation Cinder.
She had 2/3 of an amazing story told there, and 1/3 of a character of the week thing, just to showcase all the different characters you could play in multiplayer for no reason.
Remember killing bugs with Luke? How painful that was.
Literally that bit of it, where it's like they clearly shoehorned in for the sake of the multiplayer, because then you had to spend money to unlock Luke.
I do remember how fun it was escaping one of the Imperial bases in a chicken walker, and you just shoot the shit out of everything as you were like fleeing to the landing pad.
But her story is like this person defecting from the Empire and joining the Rebel Alliance. Although they kind of skipped over the whole bit where she like was accepted by the Rebel Alliance. Was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. A game like that, I think, could be cool.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, Richie, if Iden Verso does ever get another story in the Star Wars universe, or she's just fell out of canon along with everybody else we've seen along the way. Maybe they'll go back and do a Star Wars Force Unleashed. Who knows? But moving on to our final few stories of the week as we round out today's show. Official Xbox handheld, the ROG Ally, has a release date, courtesy of a reliable leaker, and it's reportedly due to appear at Gamescom, which happens later this month. The reliable leaker, who's reported official things correct in the past, has said that the Xbox ROG Ally will be targeting a 16th of October European release date, which makes sense with reveals coming later this month. Any surprise? Does October sound about right, Richie? Get ahead of the Christmas curve?
Yeah. Go in October, you get that first wave of day one purchases, but then you get almost immediately followed by a nice spike in sales for Christmas.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued to see how this does, because someone who's just bought a Nintendo Switch 2, this is rumoured to be priced around the €599 mark, or £520 for the entry-level one. If you want the Ally X, you're looking at £780. Pre-orders are reportedly going to begin on the 20th of August. We've already put our cards on the table with where we sit on this device. I think it's a good device, but does it have a gap in the market with all the other stuff that's out there for the price point?
If I was to buy one of these, this is the one I'd buy.
Mm-hmm.
Purely because I do like that it's a bit more dedicated to Xbox.
Yeah.
It's still not. It's, as I've said before. I what I ideally want is a cloud streamer device, a dedicated cloud streamer device, and I'm aware that you can get non-dedicated cloud streaming devices.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically want a green Xbox, PlayStation Portal,
Yeah.
and around the same price point.
Yeah, 199 is phenomenal for the Portal, all things said and
If
done.
I was to buy another console this year, it would be Switch 2 over this.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking this time next year, and my money situation's my house is sold, I don't have a hole in my roof anymore, I could be tempted.
You could buy a
Even though
Switch 2 and use the old Switch to plug up the gap in your ceiling.
Yeah, but I feel like I may one day end up with one of these.
Yeah, I could see it on my timeline as well. If it lines up right and the boxes are ticked, and yeah, maybe our Series S's start to become a little bit too old, and I think, well, actually, you know what?
Yeah.
Rather than go buy a new console, I've already got my PC. I can do stuff via cloud, so I don't really need the new box. But another handheld that does the job on the go.
And for me, I don't really play that often on my actually directly on my console.
Mm-hmm.
Even PlayStation, I've played most Expedition 33 and Final Fantasy on my Portal. So that handheld format just suits me at the moment.
Yeah, I get it. Totally get it. I did
So
a hell of a lot of grinding on Expedition 33.
To it. And I'm in the lottery syndicate of work. If my phone rings now and goes, "Hey, we've won a couple of grand," I might pull the trigger on my girlfriend's account.
Well, maybe Amazon Prime it.
Yeah.
In terms of other games, though, that might bolster your use of the Xbox ROG Ally, is we've also got a new batch of games coming to Game Pass this August. Reading them off, available right now. We've got Rain World coming to. I'm just going to say all the above. If I don't say otherwise, it's probably cloud, console, and PC. Yeah, typical. August 6th, we've got Citizen Sleeper 2. Also, the Lonely Mountain Snow Riders, also MechWarrior 5 Clans, and Orcs Must Die Death Trap, all coming August 6th. August 7th, you are treated to Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Mirage, the entry just prior to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is the smaller return to its origins one. August 12th, we've got Aliens Fireteam Elite, which we both enjoyed when we did a first look of Fireteam Elite. It was a fun game. It reminded us of World War Z, but with aliens. What's not to like? And then August 14th, we've got Nine Kings. Obviously, a couple of things will be leaving as well, so keep your eyes for those. Anthem, if you're playing Anthem. Farming Simulator 22 and Persona 3 Reloaded will be leaving also. Decent spread, I guess, Richie. Mirage is your big title. Obviously, you've just got Grounded 2 Early Access as well if you're a Game Pass subscriber. Anyway, Aliens Fireteam's decent. We never played Orcs Must Die. Is Death Trap, is that a new game? Like, is it launching into Game Pass?
I don't know, actually.
We played Orcs Must Die 3, but I don't know if Death Trap is a remaster or is it a new entry just without a number? It's currently available on Steam, so it must already be out. We just missed it.
The review, IGN's reviews from January this year.
So is it just Orcs Must Die 4?
Basically, I think so,
By the looks of it.
It's a roguelike spin-off.
Ah, okay. I enjoyed Orcs Must Die.
Yeah, me too.
Back in the day. Will you be checking out Mirage eventually to get round to it, do you think? Or
It's on my list of games I want to play, but so is Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I have access to them both. No, I don't, because my girlfriend borrowed the Mirage off you.
I mean, you still have access to it. You can borrow my copy if you want, so...
Okay, yeah, so I still have access to it, but it's not currently in the house.
Yeah, I would probably say, if I was to pick one, I'd say Shadows is definitively the better game still.
Yeah. I drive away for Ghost of Yotai.
I mean, yeah, if you're looking for some of the Japanese, you might as well wait now. Oh, Orcs Must Die Death Trap also looks like it's up to 4-player co-op, because that was one thing we always said is why it limited it to just 2, when the game could have scaled up to 4 quite easily by the looks of the gameplay. And if anything, it would have been more fun with more people. I reckon.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
But we enjoyed it, and it's nice to see that they're still
bigger
ticking
maps,
over.
more orcs, more chaos, more people.
Less Google Stadia, though, unfortunately. I've mentioned Stadia a lot in this show. It's almost like we're getting up on 6 years and all the little nostalgic threads keep popping out. Speaking of nostalgic threads, Richie, we've got Power Rangers coming to Fortnite. And the only reason I'm including this in it, because we normally wouldn't cover Fortnite because we're old as shit, and it's not really for us, is the trailer they put out for the Battle Royale called Shock and Awesome. The Power Ranger skins, the Megazord skins are going to be there. The new series features on hunting bugs from a different dimension. That's the Fortnite Season Pass. But they put out a live action trailer of, with the Power Rangers for this one.
Yeah.
And it's well worth a watch. If you're an old school fan, it just works. And I guess Power Rangers they're probably one of the first IP that skins, I guess, make sense for, because they're just coloured suits. There's no real craziness to them. But yeah, they actually shot it with the same cinematography of the old 90s show. Yeah. With the terrible explosions.
With a terrible camera.
Din, din, din. I can picture the music in the advert already, but with Fortnite characters as well. And you know what? The Fortnite characters just look like characters from Power Rangers. Cheap, shitty suits, running around, fighting cheap, shitty aliens or bugs or creatures. And
can we just say as well, the Power Rangers theme tune is one of the most awesome theme tunes ever written.
This is where I said a couple of weeks ago I did a drinking game with my brother, his wife, and my wife, and it was like ranking TV themes in order. And I was listening to them and I was getting them all in there, and he had some crazy ones. It was like Coronation Street and stuff was in there, and you had to kind of judge, like, it's not my favourite, but in the grand scheme of like it being an absolute banger.
You might not like the show, but that soundtrack is awesome.
You know that, like EastEnders and Holby say, like, this is where I got, remember when I said the Bill theme was essentially a Sonic the Hedgehog level? Yeah. That's where I got that from, and I was listening to them all.
We didn't get claimed for that.
We didn't. No surprise, the old Bill won't come after us for copyright. But yeah, in and amongst all that ranking, as soon as I heard the Pokemon theme, that went straight to the top. I was like, it's hands down the top one. But you're right there saying, like, the Power Rangers theme, I reckon would have slipped in a second. I reckon easily, just because of how epic that guitar is, especially. And the nostalgia's strong. But our final story of the week, rounding out the show, is a nice little fun one. We always like to add either the TV stories or the movie stories near the end, because it's a gaming podcast, but they're always linked. This one caught me off guard, Richie. In Japan, Resident Evil, which is coming to iPad, I think, is the big gist for it. I can't remember what it's coming to. They're basically promoting Resident Evil in Japan, and they've partnered with the language learning app Duolingo. And they've replaced in the clips, in the imagery they've been putting out, on social media, Lady Dimitrescu or Mr. X or the zombies with Duolingo, the owl mascot from the app is replacing Mr. X and hunting Leon Kennedy, and he's shown as Nemesis. He's outside the RIPD department. What's going on? I have no idea. Duolingo didn't even exist back when Resident Evil 4 and the like came out. Will he make an appearance in the new Resident Evil Requiem? Who knows? But for now, there's an owl terrorizing the people of Raccoon City out there. I have no clue. You're on mute.
What makes it worse is if you look at the Duolingo owl and some of the images, it looks like it's like kind of inflated, like a cheap inflatable suit that someone's wearing.
I'm not surprised. I think I put it in. So
it's brilliant marketing.
Oh, the Duolingo marketing surprised me. Like I'm still doing French. I think I'm coming up on like 500 days of practicing French with it. But they've got really quirky marketing that I guess kind of just works for them. It's like it doesn't take itself serious enough, and it's one of those apps where it can't really piss people off because it's just a language learning app. Like, it can't do anything. It's not in the media. It's not taking a political stance. It's just learning another language. Like, you can't really go wrong with that. And the app's fun and it's gamified and it does work. And that's why I've still been using it. There was a funny one. I shared it in our chat group a while ago. But you get like notifications daily. And if you don't do your lessons on a regular basis, you get like notifications from the owl and the owl's face changes, so he's not happy, he's angry at you, he's sad, he's upset, whatever. It like characterizes it quite funny. There was one I saw on social media where it was, you get your phone notifications come up.
Yeah.
I'll show it to the camera. I don't know if it'll work. So there's one notification from Duolingo says, "Looks like you forgot your Spanish lessons again. You know what happens now." And the next notification alert was rocket attacks in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. So it was like, it literally looked 1 minute apart. You forgot your Spanish lesson. Look what happens now. And then right underneath
You did this. You made me do this.
And right underneath it, there's obviously shameful rocket attacks. But yeah, Duolingo is not fucking around. Do your lesson, learn your words, pick up your phrases. But yeah, just a funny little story to end on there. And go check them out on the Japanese thing. There's loads of people. It's weird because people almost treat it like a sentient god, where if like people apologize on social media saying like, "Sorry, Duo, sorry we didn't do that," and like sending all these saying, "Yeah, we'll be back." There's Minecraft memes. There's like, there's just everything with this owl just tearing shit up. But it's funny because he's usually quite a cute little owl. But Richie, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Thank you very much everyone who's listened, tuned in, supported us, Guild Heroes, shout out to you wonderful folks again as we bring you all the news. If you haven't done so already, do give it a video like, subscribe, ring that bell so you kept in the loop with all of our great content, and more importantly, go check out our first looks because we've got a couple up at the moment. Mafia, of course, the Old Country one being the most recent one. We've got the Uncharted playthrough series there, so if you've got any idea about that, go check that one out. And of course, we've got our weekly live streams as well. Richie, one day we'll get back to Pokemon Blue, I'm absolutely sure of it. But before we do end, Richie, we always like to take a look back at this day in video game history. We're recording on August the 8th as we tick into one of the busiest months, the busiest quarters of the year. Any games stand out for you on this particular day?
Yes, 1 year ago today, Pokemon TCG Pocket came out.
Oh, are you still playing it?
Yes, I am.
Really?
Yeah, I'm still playing.
Oh, I dropped that ball. A year seems a long. I didn't realize it was that much.
I didn't realize it was a year. It's I'm level 49.
Don't know what that means, but congratulations. Is that good?
Yeah, I pretty much play daily still.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't spent a penny.
Well, and you've enjoyed it.
I've completed a lot of the decks as well.
Good.
Not all the rare cards, but all like the initial like easier cards.
I've got two.
I'm doing well.
Two McDonald's Pokemon cards on my desk right now.
I've got a few on there.
I don't think they're worth anything compared to the originals, but you know what? I saw Charizard, I saw a shiny Pikachu, and I wanted to keep them. And there's Richie's shorts and legs for anyone who's watching on video. He doesn't know we can see him because his headphones aren't on, but he's got his legs out.
Yeah, I've got a few as well.
Which ones have you got?
I've got
shiny. A what?
A Kalia.
Curly hair. And
Palmy?
No idea. This is the reason I don't play Pokemon modern games.
I have Blissey.
That's Blissey.
That's Blissey, yeah.
The Chansey.
The evolved form of Chansey.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I still know a little bit.
And Sprigatito. The shiny Sprigatito.
Cute, but don't really know what that one is either.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I'm interested in the new ZA game is because Totodile is one of the starter choices. Yeah. And I'm like, he's my boy. I can get behind that damn that little water croc.
And my girlfriend also bought me this.
Oh, look at you two. That's how she gets away with it. August 9th, August 9th, Richie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look what's 7th down on the list for August 9th. It's back. It's back, ladies and gentlemen.
I forgot. I never got around to listen to the end of that episode, actually.
It's back.
I forgot.
I don't know how it's back because we covered it on Rob's show. So did it get 2 re-releases maybe?
Harvest Moon.
Seaman is back out
Seaman.
on Dreamcast.
Seaman.
August 9th. Harvest Moon, yeah, good shout. No Man's Sky. 9 years ago. 9 years. And the full story completes. August 10th, let's have a look. Anything August 10th. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Game Boy Advance. Shout out. Yeah, that's about it. A bit quiet. I guess, traditionally, the summer, we didn't really get many games come out. It's only I guess, the PS...
the world?
Yeah, it's a good one. 15 years ago on PS3.
Yeah.
Damn. But yeah, I feel like traditionally, outside of the PS4 era onwards, any games that came out between kind of April and summer weren't really a thing. It was always the back end of the year, wasn't it? Everyone waited for Christmas.
Yeah. You get the odd day randomly that just seems to be an absolute banger, then it goes quiet for a bit.
Let's not forget, though, the last one, August the 12th, 44 years ago in 1981, we got the PC. Microsoft released the PC, just known as PC.
And
the
video
world
games have never been the same since.
Changed. Master Race began.
No, you're joking. That is probably a massive day in video game history.
Oh, yeah. Undoubtedly. Certainly should be. Change the world. And one thing you can do to change the world, as I said, is like, subscribe, and follow. But that's it for this week's episode 104 of the GamerGuild Podcast. Episode 475 in total. And remember, 1,907 days since Mafia was announced for Google Stadia. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
And remember, folks, play whatever makes you the happiest. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.